Hey, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, bringing you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly on some Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. And I'm doing some live dual commentary with my partner here, Sick, which most of you probably don't remember. He did the dual commentary with me during Darksiders 2 last year, back in August. So it's been quite a while since he visited the channel. But to start things off, I'm showing you guys the first stage. It's going to be basically highlights, including the boss battle. So anyone that's worried about spoilers, you might not want to watch the end of this video. But to kind of start with, the reason why we're not doing live dual commentary is, number one, there's too many cutscenes, and we're having to skip through them. So if you were just watching like one extended play, it'd just be a bunch of bits and pieces. So that's one reason. And number two, the stages are just way too long. The second stage actually took us like 45 minutes?
Yeah, they're very extensive stages, and if I screw up, then it just takes even that much longer.
Yeah, I mean, we're not flawless. We are dying, and we are playing the game on normal. Now, it's funny. It's funny even saying that, because just today I read a comment on my Aliens review where somebody exited the video and said that I didn't know what I was doing because I was playing the game on normal instead of hard. But there's actually a really good reason to play this game on normal. Basically,
To win.
Yeah, well, yeah, number one, to win. But if you're playing the game on normal, you have a better chance of getting better ratings, like S ratings, to get more BP, so that you can actually level up. And once you've leveled up, then you can go and switch into the hard mode, which we played the first stage on hard. We played it on normal.
We were actually going to play the whole game through hard.
Yeah, we were going to play the whole game through hard, and once we played the first stage, we were like, wait a minute, this is too much.
Well, your character's allowed to upgrade, so that just tells you right there you need to upgrade some of your stuff before playing it through on the harder difficulties, because he is pretty scrubbish at the beginning.
Yeah, we finished on hard as our first playthrough, and we got what, like 1,800 or 1,300 points, and then we switched and played it on normal, and we had like
4,000.
4,000, and it was like 50 or 60,000 on the second stage. So I mean, you get a lot more points for playing it on normal, so you don't want to just start off, hit the ground running on hard on here.
Which you probably can get that much BP if your character is already decked out somewhat, to where you can kill these things faster.
Now, next is the parrying and the timing. Now, if you guys remember, some of you guys might remember, I did a first impressions a few weeks back on the demo, and I was having kind of a rough time with the parrying and the timing on here, and part of it was all me. It's just timing and just getting to understand the game. Part of it is still the game a little bit, but it seems like the controls have been cleaned up since the demo. It seems like they're a little bit better, but it's still somewhat hard to parry against some moves.
Yeah, the parrying, you have to line up just right on some of them, or at least I did, playing around with the parrying. Which, if you were perfectly in front of them and they just kept doing the move, you could parry every time. But if you're close to them, he wants to hit them. And instead of parrying, he wants to swing on them. So if they get ready to do a move and you're too close, there's nothing you can do. And there's no rolling back and forth out of the way, so you're stuck, because parrying is such a huge part of the game. Because some bosses will just tear you down unless you parry it.
Yeah, and the camera angle, it's good 90% of the time, but when you're in the boss battles, there's times where the camera wants to just have a mind of its own, and it makes it even more difficult to parry. Like, it makes parrying like hard, because you're pointing it in one direction and the camera will take over and throw you in a loop.
Locks you into another direction.
Yeah, so you it's kind of hard to parry. And going back to the normal and hard conversation, there's actually trophies for beating, I think it's 4 or 5 of the bosses on hard, but you have to play and beat them flawlessly. You can't get hit one time, and I think 99% of the people, if you're trying to do this the first time playing the game,
you're going to get hit.
Yeah, you're going to get hit.
You're going to get hit.
Like when we played the second stage boss, which is the first one that you need to actually beat flawlessly, I think it took Sick like 15 minutes to beat her, and he got...
Of course, the top comment will be, I played through and I never got hit.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's going to do it, but he got hit over and over and over again. He went through like 2.5 med packs, so...
That dude sucked, but still.
Even
if you were perfecting it, it's pretty tough not to get hit by some of the bosses, because there's other mobs on the screen too, anyways. So
those are going to be some really tough trophies, unless there's a trick to it, which somebody might figure out some trick to be able to do it to where it's not as tough. Maybe once you're fully upgraded and maxed out and beefed up, you can just go in there and whip up on the bosses. But from fighting with what we had, I don't know. It seems
Yeah, if you do enough damage fast enough, it goes into those little cutscene markers where you can just hit the, you know, the buttons on there, and it'll do a special move and stuff and tear them down. But with the way we were doing it, it was not happening.
And speaking of the customization, you get to unlock new moves. We just unlocked a new weapon that we're about to go test out in the third chapter, which was a pole arm.
Which had its own moves.
Yeah, which has its own moves, and it seems like more stuff unlocks the more you progress. So it's going to be interesting to see once you finish the game how much stuff you actually get to unlock, because right now it's kind of limited to just a few things. Another thing is when you pick up the sub-weapons like bazookas and you had like a homing missile or a rocket launcher or something at one point, those are kind of tough to use. It doesn't seem like the game was built for that.
Nah, the homing missile's not so bad because you don't really have to aim. You can just throw it up in the air and hit the button and shoot it. But rockets, I mean,
It's kind of cumbersome just trying to switch and then
yeah,
maneuver and do all that.
you're almost better off just traveling and trying to kill them with your weapon.
And also the wall climbing, like when you're holding R1, he does like a ninja run, and it's kind of clumsy with how it handles some of the terrain. Like it's not fluid with how he climbs.
Sometimes he'll have to jump it twice, in other words. Instead of him just jumping up on the ledge, he'll just have to jump, and then he'll hop, and then he'll get up there. Or he's just all over the place. So it's not really... We were referring to, what, Darksiders?
Yeah, the game kind of reminds me a little bit of like Darksiders, Bayonetta, even maybe Devil May Cry. It's a lot of fast-paced action. You're constantly fighting, moving, running, collecting items, upgrading, fighting more. The boss battles have been pretty cool so far. We've done what, 3 bosses now, and all of them had different attack patterns. So you have to, like, some of them you have to be really super defensive, and others you have to be super aggressive. So once again, you're going to need to play the game at least once, unless you're just going to study videos on YouTube, for over and over again before you play.
AKA not have a life.
Yeah. The game also has really good like changing environments. Like the environments for the stages progresses pretty well. Even though like the second stage took us 45 minutes, it was a lot of different scenery throughout that entire stage. You were fighting like a helicopter at one point, and you were inside of a building, you were outside of a building, you were on a rooftop. So it does a nice job of just changing things up. And also with your upgrading, it gives you a lot of points to upgrade. Like we're almost maxed out after just playing a couple times on the stages.
What saves your points too. So if you die and restart it and have to go kill that area again, you still keep your points to upgrade. So
yeah, if you play halfway through the stage and then go to the title screen and start that stage back over again, you keep all your points. So you could just max your character out.
If you're horrible at the game, you could potentially play enough of the half stage to upgrade yourself.
Finally, the music is really good 90% of the time, but towards the end of the boss battles, when the vocals cut in, it seems kind of awkward. Like it doesn't
match up.
Yeah, it doesn't fit with what's going on. I don't know if it's going to stay like that through the rest of the game, but the first couple bosses, and I even noticed that when I was playing the demo, when I was fighting that little dog or werewolf or whatever it is with the tail, when the vocals cut in and it just starts playing really loud rock music, it's not fitting to what's going on with the game very well.
No, not at all.
But the rest of the time is fine. When the vocals aren't playing, it's fine. So it's kind of weird, I guess. But that's pretty much in a nutshell what we have to say about our first hour and a half of playing. This video is already running pretty long. You got anything else to add?
We only finished what, 2 stages?
Yeah, we're on the 3rd stage now.
We're on the 3rd stage, an hour and a half later. So yeah.
It seems like there's only going to be 7 or 8 stages, at least from judging from looking at the trophies. But I'll have,
which means it'll still probably take us over 5-6 hours to do it.
It's going to be at least a 7 or 8 hour adventure, I think. But I'll be able to, I guess, maybe clarify that in the review. That's pretty much all I got for this video. This is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and thanks for stopping by.